How do leaders destroy millions of dollars in value and kill their own culture within their company without realizing they're doing it? Look, I'm Andy Dunning. I built a multi-8-figure business, and I'm about to tell you the most expensive mistake I had ever made as a leader. One that cost me millions of dollars and nearly destroyed everything I had built. This mistake is common that 90% of leaders make without even knowing it. They think they're being strong leaders, but they're creating a weak organization. They think they're adding value, but they're destroying it one decision at a time. In this video, I'm going to reveal the single most expensive mistake leaders make. One that cost me an 8-figure fortune and years to rebuild it. I'll show you exactly how this mistake shows up in your business, why it feels like good leadership, but destroys everything you're trying to build. And there's 3 steps to this system I know that you can use to completely avoid it. We'll also cover how to identify if you're making this mistake right now in your business and what you can do immediately to stop the bleeding before it kills your business. Before we dive in, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a video that could save you from making the same $1 million mistake I made and keep you from doing it. My name is Andy Dunning, and for 35 years, I've been building businesses from the ground up. I've made every leadership mistake you can imagine over that time, but one mistake that stands out above all the rest, and it cost me everything. When I sold my first auction company for 8 figures, I thought I was the smartest guy in the room. I was the face of the company. I was the top salesperson. I was the guy everyone looked for every answer. I thought that made me, boom, a great leader. Here's what really happened. I sold my company, and within a few years, I watched my fortune disappear. But the real tragedy wasn't losing the money. It was realizing that I never actually built a sustainable business. I had built a house of cards with me as the foundation, and when I stepped away, everything collapsed. The most expensive mistake I made wasn't a bad investment or a poor financial planning. It was thinking that being indispensable made me the most valuable person, and I was a leader. You've probably been told great leaders are the ones with all the answers. They need to be the hardest workers, the best performers, the person everybody turns to when things are tough. Maybe you pride yourself on being a go-to person, the one who can solve all those problems. I get it. When your employees come with you every single issue, man, it feels good. When your customers ask for you specifically, it gives you validation as a leader. When you're working 80 hours a week while everybody else is working 40, you're like, oh yeah, I'm that leader. You think being needed makes you valuable. You believe that if you can do everything better than everybody else, that makes you indispensable. Your identity becomes tied to being the hero who saves the day every single time. Boom. But here's the brutal truth. Nobody's going to tell you. You aren't building a business. You're building a prison for yourself, and all you are is the warden. And if you can shift from being indispensable to making others capable, watch how everything changes. See, the secret is the most expensive mistake leaders make is solving all of the problems instead of actually developing problem solvers. Every time you jump in to fix something, you rob your people from that opportunity to grow and learn. Every time you make yourself the solution, you make your business weaker. Every time you say, oh guys, don't worry, I'll handle it, you're actually saying, man, I don't trust you to do your job. The mistake doesn't cost you money, it costs you freedom, your sanity, and ultimately, it could actually cost you your business. Because a business that can't run without you is a business that all you are is an expensive job. Let me break this down for you in 3 ways. How this mistake shows up and how to fix it. Mistake 1, you solve problems instead of teaching problem solvers. In my first company, every major issue landed on my desk. Cash flow problems, I'll handle it. Difficult customer, I'll call them. Employee conflict, I'll mediate it. I thought I was being a strong leader, but but I was actually creating weaker employees. Here's what I learned. When someone comes to me with a problem, I don't solve the problem for them anymore. I say, I don't care about what the problem is. Come up with 3 solutions for me. I'll tell you which one I think's the best, but I want to hear which one they think is the best, and then we will decide together which route we're going to go. This does 2 things. It builds their decision-making skills, and it keeps the problems from making it up to your desk, but it also builds confidence in your team members. If you do this for 30 days, watch how your business transforms. Start today. Stop solving problems for your people. Start teaching them to solve the problem themselves. Your job isn't to have all the answers. It's to develop people who can find those answers for you. Mistake 2, you hire for skills instead of developing leaders. I used to hire people to fill positions. If they had a heartbeat, I was hiring them. I needed a salesperson, so I hired someone who, could, I thought, sell. I needed an operations manager, so I found someone who had operational experience, but I never developed them beyond that or beyond their job descriptions. So here's what changed everything. I realized that every person I hire is either going to become a leader or they're going to have to leave. There is no middle ground. So now I hire for attitude. I train for skills. I invest in my people no different than I would as if my business depended on it, because in reality, it truly does. One of the things I do, I make my management team read a book every single month. Then they do a 1-page report on it. I send them to training every single quarter. I had 10 of my direct reports go to a leadership event because I needed them to shift their mindset from being employees to now being leaders. Now let's look. Look at your top 5 people. What are you doing specifically to develop them as leaders? If you can't answer that, you're managing people, not developing leaders. Mistake 3, you measure your success and how busy you are, and instead it needs to be on how effective your team is. See, I used to measure my week by, man, I work 80 hours and that was my badge of honor. I thought being the first one in and the last one out made me a great leader. But all it really meant was I had failed to build systems and develop people that could handle the things without me. Now I measure success totally different. Can my business run for a week without me? Do my people make good decisions when I'm not there? Are they solving problems I never even need to hear about? That's when I know I'm succeeding as a leader. Ask yourself this question. If you disappeared for a month, would my business run better? Would it run worse? Or would it run just the same? Let me know, because if it's not the same or better, man, you're making an expensive mistake right now. For me, the root cause was ego disguised as leadership. I thought being needed made me valuable, but it actually made me the bottleneck within my own company. I thought solving every problem made me indispensable, but it made my business unsustainable. Here's what happened. When I came back into the auction business in 2018, I came back with a complete different role. I couldn't be the face of the company. I had to be the person in the company that was a leader who develops other leaders. I had to learn to operate from 30,000 feet, not being down on the ground in the weeds. See, the breakthrough came when I realized that true leadership is duplication. My mission isn't to keep people small, it's to grow them so they can be strong and stand on their own. When one of my employees came to me and said they wanted to start their own business, my response was, man, high five, and let me tell you why. And let me ask, how can I help you get to that point to where you can start your own business? That's when I knew I had shifted from being a manager to being a leader. Here's what you can do today to stop making expensive mistakes. Action 1, identify the top 3 problems that consistently come on your desk. For each one, assign someone else to teach them how to handle it. Stop being the solution for every problem. Action 2, implement the 3 solution rule. When anyone brings you a problem, they must also bring you 3 potential solutions, and then they need to recommend one that they think is the best solve for that problem. Action 3, schedule a weekly one-on-one with your key people. Focus on their development, not just their task. Ask them, what do you want to learn? What challenges do you want to take on? And then, how can I help you grow with each one of these? Each one of these works because they shift you from doing to developing, from solving to teaching, from being indispensable to creating leaders who can operate without you. If you want to join a group of like-minded leaders who understand that real leadership is about developing other leaders, not being the hero, make sure you click the button below and follow me on all my social media platforms. Hit that like button, share this video with a leader who needs to hear this message. Subscribe to my channels. Look, the most expensive mistake leaders make isn't about money. It's about mindset. It's thinking that being needed makes you valuable instead of making others capable. It's solving problems instead of developing problem solvers. It's building a business that depends on you instead of one that can thrive without you. The question is, are you going to keep making yourself indispensable and limit your business, or are you going to actually start developing leaders so you can scale your impact? Stay consistent, stay successful, and remember, your job as a leader isn't to be the smartest person in the room. It's to make sure you have the smartest people in the room. Guys, I'll see you in the next video.